Hi, I'm Becca.
Hi, I'm Emma.
And this is
Life in Quarters.
You bring up an excellent point of finishing things within the greater project. So like being done doesn't necessarily mean, and you're finished with the whole project. It's finishing with the brainstorming, saying, I've done enough for now. I am finished with this phase. I'm moving on to the next phase. And like having finishes throughout the project, because in a way it's really encouraging, because if you don't finish doing something like editing the poem, or, you know, when you could work on something forever and ever and ever, back to that thing of, oh, the song's not finished yet, it's not ready yet, it's not ready yet. At some point, it has to be ready enough. You have to call it there and move on.
Because then it helps you move forward. And I think like it is part of the practice of not making perfect the enemy of good. It's like if you're always striving for perfection, you're never going to get past those checkpoints, because like the TV show as a whole is a great point, because there's so many little things you have to finish within it. Like you have to finish the pilot, you have to finish the pitch, you have to practice the pitch, you have to build the deck. There are a lot of places where you could get stuck forever. And also what's crazy about it, and it's such a great practice in this, because you're not making the TV show yet. Like all of these things I'm finishing are to then undertake making the TV show itself. And so if I'm not like finishing those checkpoints, like I can't even move on to like the next checkpoint, and then making the show itself is going to have all of those same checkpoints.
You know what I've realized? I've realized that me creating my backpack and you creating your TV show, extremely similar parallel projects. Because like when I was mocking up, doing my drawings, putting all my criteria together, communicating with my product designer, at some point, there were some things that I was still a bit undecided on, and I didn't either feel like the confidence to question him on it, or I felt like, oh, this will come up in a later iteration, and then all of a sudden we were done already. And I was like, oh, okay. Like I still didn't have the answers that I hoped to have by the end of it. And at that point I was like, you know what? I have to move on to trademarking the brand. I have to move on to doing this. I have to move on to finding a manufacturer. And then when we get to the prototyping stage and I actually can have the product, hold it in my hands, that's my opportunity to actually pressure test the things that I was unsure about, and go back to my product designer and say like, okay, I know definitively that like this is not how I want it to work, so can we rework this thing? But I had to accept that that was where it's going to end at that point, that I was not going to go into the manufacturing stage being like, this is perfect in every way, I have zero doubts whatsoever. I'm full of doubt, but I will be revisiting it. Like there will be another opportunity to iron out the actual thing. This isn't like the end all be all at this point.
I think I'm realizing that with getting older and with taking on bigger projects, like our big practice, and the thing that we're both realizing is that you have to be comfortable moving forward with less information and less finished product. Because like you just have to keep moving forward and putting all of the energy you would put into it, so it's a fantastic part of the project. But like being okay knowing that like the things you're making are the pebbles that are building the wall.
And I do think that a lot of people would describe me as like really self-assured and, you know, I know fully what I want at all times. And that is not true. Like even with creating my baton twirling team, the name of it, spoiler alert, Silver Lining Baton Twirlers, located in Orange County. Silver Lining, I went through a lot of different names. I went through a lot of different color things. Like I committed to that with going, and I might hate that in a year or two. And I don't know if I love it right now. I like it. I think it's fine. I think it suits it. I think that I could get used to it, but is it perfect? Is it something that came to me in a dream? No.
It's very sorry. I was just thinking about your baton. I zoned out, honestly. I zoned out for a second. That was a really bad ADHD moment, because I then was just thinking about the Silver Linings and how it's such a clever name. And then I was thinking about the designs, and I
already have merch. That was like first on my list. I think that partly kept me going too, was I was like, hey, if you create your baton twirling team, guess what you get? Merch. Oh, I love merch.
I love a novelty.
I love a novelty.
The novelty for you is like getting to make the merch, and the novelty for me is like getting to like present the project, especially when it's like a creative idea. I'm like, look at what my brain did. Look at these, like, oh, it's so fun.
This is another ADHD moment, but I was stewing on your whole like you need a good why to start a project, and I was like, my why is consistently spite for everything that I do in my life. Like,
Yeah.
nothing propels me like the why of spite, whether it's for a concept, spite for a concept, or spite for a person. And yeah, you don't have to have an altruistic driver for a why all the time. Just another reminder. You can totally be a dick.
I think, I'm trying to think, I know there is a word for it, but I don't know what it is. Like obligation. I feel like my why is obligation, but it's obligation to like the ephemeral ideas. That
You're so like, you're like, it's an obligation to make the world a beautiful place. And mine's an obligation to crush the hopes and dreams of my enemies. Like,
No, I would like to say also that it's not quite as altruistic as an obligation to make the world a beautiful place. It's definitely weirder. It's definitely some theater kid energy. It's like, I have an obligation to these characters because they were birthed by my brain and they only exist because of me. And if I don't take care of them, who's going to take care of them?
That's way more embarrassing.
I know. That's why I said it.
Ooh. You know what? I applaud your bravery.
I stand by this. I stand 10 toes down. We have a little peek behind the curtain. We have talked about doing an episode of like our connection with the universe before and stuff like that. And I think both times we were both like, this is going to be too woo-woo. I have never been more woo-woo, like for lack of a better phrase. I have never been more spiritual or universe inclined in an episode than I have in this episode. And like, usually I'd feel the need to disclaim. And I was like, no, but when it comes to my creative babies, I have an obligation to not disclaim these things.
You have your internal code and principles really, really get me.
I know. They're so funny.
I like it. Not in a bad way.
No,
I'm like, look at you.
This
look at you with all these hoops to jump through.
What did you say? I missed it.
I said, look at you with all these hoops to jump through.
I know, but they're such fun hoops. Because then I'm like, I love my characters. I have loved the characters of my show for the last 3 years. And honestly, anytime it got too hard and I was like, I don't know if I can do it, it was my girls. I was like, they only exist in my mind and they like deserve to get to meet the world. The world like should know these girls. They're like amazing. And so
I love that for you.
I love them so much. This is a great episode.
And I love that for us.
I was going to say, this is a great episode also on us being opposites. I feel like it's so rarely like starkly black and white represented as it is in this moment. Shameless plugs?
Yes, shameless plugs.
You can find me on Instagram at I am Emma Bruno 2. That's TOO. And on TikTok at I am Emma Bruno.
And you can find me on Instagram at r.sowden.money, on YouTube and TikTok at rebecca.sowden, and on Substack under The Life Ledger.
You can find our podcast on Instagram at Life in Quarters Pod.
And you can listen to this podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. For example, where are you listening to this podcast right now? Or watching it? Shout out YouTube.
Bye!
Bye! Go action your idea.